Hello, 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 and thank you guys so very much for tuning in today. Happy Wednesday to you all. Today it is Wednesday, the 20th, so it's 2020. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to you all the grind guy, Mr. John Stafford, based out of here in Atlanta, Georgia. Real estate king. He's been in the business for well over 20 years now, from what I seen on your recent
20
video.
years.
Yeah, huh?
It'll be 20 years.
Wow, 20 years. So again, it's your girl, Miss Lee, coming to you live, the Keys to Success show. And it is my pleasure to welcome you, Mr. John Stafford. Please take a moment and introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. My name is John Stafford, aka the Grind Guy. Been doing business actively here in Atlanta. On the 23rd of this month, it'll actually be 20 years from my very first real estate transaction.
Wow.
So I got started off at 19, doing a lot of pre-foreclosures, door knocking. So for the people that don't know, like we didn't have all the things that they have right now, but I am the founder of Everybody Eats Real Estate Group. And we do a lot of wholesale transactions. We do fix and flips as well, and working on some new construction and things of that nature as well too. So.
Wow. And so you said on the 23rd of this month will mark 20 years for you in the business.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
I mean, what an honor it is to have you on the show after 20 years in the business. Now, have you been 20 years in the Atlanta, Georgia market consecutively?
Yeah, in the Atlanta, Georgia market. I also did a little bit up in New York. That wasn't too successful as much as it was here. So,
Right.
And we tap into other markets such as Alabama, Tennessee, looking to tap into Cleveland a little bit, and Philadelphia.
Wow. So take us back to when you first got into real estate investing. What made you get into real estate investors? Tell us a little bit about Mr. John Stafford and the grind guy, kind of what started your journey to becoming the grind guy in real estate.
Okay, well, I got started in this business at the age of 19.
Okay.
So basically the story is I would play basketball. That was the only thing I knew how to do. I was a high school athlete, and a mentor had found out that I had a baby on the way. He used to run a gym. We used to all go play ball at. And he was like, "Listen, man, I hear you had a baby on the way. I know you want to go to college, things of that nature." But all I kept talking about when I was with him was her. Once she was born and everything, just talking about her consistently all the time. And he was like, "Man, you feel the same way about your daughter as I feel about my son. I want to show you something to change your life." So he literally said, this was on a Saturday. He said, "On Monday, I want you to come by the house and I'm going to show you something that's going to change your life. Get to my house about 10 o'clock. He lived in Alpharetta at the time, and I lived in Gwinnett. So make a long story short, I arrived at his house at 6 o'clock in the morning because I was, getting ready. So when he woke up, I'm in his driveway, and he couldn't believe I was already there and just ready, just beat traffic, and just, I was hungry. I wanted to find out what made you pick me as an individual to show me this business. You know what I mean? So.
Wow, that's powerful. So you arrived at his house at 6 a.m., ready to learn this new adventure. And what happened from that point?
He couldn't believe it. When he called me about 9:30, "Are you almost here?" I'm like, "Man, I've been out here since 6 o'clock in the morning." He looked out his window and just started laughing. He just couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? But this was a guy that was, well known, and everybody liked him. Funny guy, So, everything that I saw in him, I was like, wow, that's somebody that I could be. He spent a lot of time with his son. You know what I mean? I was trying to emulate that exact same thing.
Wow. So he brought you in, and what the things that he showed you, was it wholesaling real estate, or what exactly did he show you?
Well, so he basically was showing me how to do pre-foreclosures and knock on doors.
Wow.
So I just took what he showed me and ran with it. I used to go to the public notice building, or the Daily Report building down on Pryor Street. I would go there every day at the beginning of the month, because the house has to be listed publicly for 4 weeks prior to foreclosure. And I would get that information. At the time, there was only one RIA group, Georgia RIA. I would go to Georgia RIA, use their software, which was called Crisscross at the time. And I would use their software, pull up all the information and documents, or the homeowners and whatnot. And I was there every day. Every person that walked in the door, I gave a business card to, I spoke to, hey, I'm doing pre-foreclosures. I just connected with every person that came in that office because I knew that these are investors. This is somebody that's in the business already that can potentially be a buyer for one of my first deals. So I just spoke to everybody.
Wow. So you went to the RIA office every single day and were using their software, their computers, their resources when you're just getting started and making those connections every single morning when you first started.
Yep.
That is amazing. That shows dedication and consistency and your success to becoming the grind guy and the real estate, king that you are today.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So you're sitting there. So how long did it take you to get your first deal from that moment of continuously going and going to the courthouse? When did you get your first real estate deal?
It took me 3 months.
Wow.
So mind you, 3 months of a 19-year-old, I got a daughter. She has Pampers. She was born 5 days after I graduated high school, by the way.
Wow.
But I got to make sure she has Pampers. I got to make sure she has all the things that she needs because she's a baby. So it's different. It was a lot of pressure. I was big from the beginning on mindset because I knew once I got this down that my life would change forever. And that's what it did. I mean, every single day, like right before I got my first deal, we had Metro phones at the time.
Right.
And my Metro phone had got turned off right before I got my very first deal. So things were happening, life was happening, bills, things of that nature, all the things that, that are going to happen every day were happening to me.
Right.
So I was able to get that phone back on. And so that was my investment. My investment was the membership at Georgia RIA, which at that time, I believe it was $200. And basically that cell phone, this cell phone right here, this is our office. Okay. We got to keep this on. This has to stay on because you can get that call from a homeowner, from someone else that has a deal, and that could be your very first deal. So I made that investment. I got, I believe I borrowed that money to pay my cell phone bill. And within the 2 weeks after paying that cell phone bill, I closed on my first deal where I met the guy at Georgia RIA.
Wow.
He came to me. He was like, man, listen, I see you in all the time. And you said that you work on pre-foreclosures. I need help with this deal. So I was like, okay, no problem. Fine, let's go. And he was like, let's go to the house now. I was like, yeah, let's go. So he was like, wow, like he was kind of new to the pre-foreclosure side, but I knew, like my mentor always taught me, act as if you know what you're doing.
Right.
So that's what I did. I mean, he walked me to the deal. It was an elderly lady with her son that was staying there. And we basically did the contract right there. I did all the negotiations, closed on the deal, made my first $10,000. Now, mind you, at this deal, I have called everybody that I can call, every single person that I can ever call, that I got business cards from, everyone. It's about 25 to 30 people at the house when I call about this deal, because I called everybody.
And you told them to meet you at the property.
I told them to meet me at the property. But it was a guy that I knew prior to getting into the business. He told me when I got my first deal to call him, and he bought it sight unseen.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, you just dropped so many nuggets with regards to just the consistency that it takes. You had a mentor, you went to a location, you were consistent, you were networking. So, I mean, hopefully you guys have your pen and paper out to take some of the notes that John is dropping today, the grind guy is dropping today. So you had to have a mentor, you were consistent, you were networking, you were following up, and you were dedicated. And also you had to act as if you didn't have that fear of, hey, I may not know what you were like, no matter what, just go in there confident, having that confidence to say, I'm going to get this thing done.
Yes, man. That's how I got started. I mean, for me, it was about so the first thing you got to have in the business of real estate or any business is the why. And my daughter was my why. So that's how I got started. And she'll be 21 in the next 2 weeks.
Wow. So, congratulations. So that's amazing. So she's had a whole journey of real estate as well.
Yeah,
because before she was born, Dad got started in real estate. And so her whole life has been seeing Dad as a real estate investor.
Yep.
That is powerful. And it's an amazing foundation for her as well, growing up, to see that, that business aspect.
Yeah, she's tapped in. Like, so I'll take her sometimes. She'll be driving for dollars with me, and I won't like a house, but she'll like it, and she'll go and she'll be like, "Oh, I like that one, Daddy," and we'll write it down. And if we get that deal, then I'll pay her a fee. She's recorded me sometimes where I have speaking engagements, and I'll pay her to just hold the phone, just showing her some entrepreneurship.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal stuff. So you close your first deal and you're off to the races from that point. How did you develop the everybody eats concept of business? I mean, 20 years is mind blowing. That is amazing. So you've seen so many different trends here in the Georgia market, the market going up, the market going down. How did you develop the point of building a team and things like that? Or how long were you solo in the business as well?
So first of all, I want to say that in the business, I've always wanted a team, because when I got that deal, I believe it. So I got that deal. I went to they have the general meeting every month. I went to a meeting. I believe it was Robert Allen that was speaking. He was one of the big gurus at the time, and he heard about the deal because I had called everybody that was in the network, like that I got business cards from. So everybody's circulating this deal. And he was like, "There's this 19-year-old kid that has this deal," and he said my name, and my mentor sitting next to me. We look at each other like, he's talking about me. So I go up front. Now, mind you, at this time, like I said, I think it was only one RIA group. It had to at least be 1,500 to 2,000 people there.
Wow.
So when I go up there, we talk about the deal and how the deal's under contract. Now, right after the meeting, it was about 15 to 20 people with checkbooks like, "John, find me a deal like that right now, and I'll write you a check right now. Like, find me a deal, I'll write you a check right now."
Wow.
So they talk about building your buyers list, everything all in one. And I just ran from there. I made my first 10,000. I was like, okay, this is legit. This is real. Everybody, the naysayers, the family members, or just people that were saying that it can't be done, they actually saw me doing it, and they were like, "Wow, like you really can sell houses." Like they just thought real estate agent. They weren't thinking the investment side.
Wow, that is powerful. So you're presented at an event. 1,200 people, up to 2,000 people are there. They're asking you for your contact info, and like you said, you always wanted to develop a team. And so from that point, how did you kind of merge into that team perspective of things?
So the team came in 2017, 16, 17. I met Carlos Carson, who's a good friend of mine now. He does a lot of pressure washing. So Coastal Clear Power Washing, I'm giving them a plug.
Absolutely.
He's number one on Angie's list for power washing. Wow. He came to me. He said, "Hey, I got 2 deals. Would you want to do a JV?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, that'll be, yeah. I got the buyers. We can make some things happen." So immediately, like, we closed 2 deals back to back. And he was like, "Man, I want to form some type of team. Like, I like the way you work. I want to try to form something." But I had been trying to form a team for a long time because I was all over the place. I was Gwinnett, Jonesboro, Riverdale. I was just all over the place. And I was always saying, like, if I can create a team or get some like-minded individuals on the same page, then we can just basically be like the core of the street.
Right.
And I had knew Monique Williams for quite some time, and I had told her about real estate. She was getting in. She was kind of, getting her feet wet. She was in, but she was getting her feet wet. So we all were together one day. We was like, we should start this team. And, we came up with the concept. It was going to be everybody eats, but because that was taken by some type of restaurant or food, we wanted to keep it urban. So we said everybody eats.
Everybody eats.
And from there, we started, we started showing content and value on social media, where Contrell Sims came in. He started following me on social media, on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, man, I need to be able to pull up on you. I've been doing all these, going to all these meetups and these meetings, but I see you're in the field. Like, this is hands-on. Do you mind if I pull up on you?" But I kept giving him the cold shoulder because at the time I was just like too busy. I was just on the go.
Right.
So I studied his social media, did my due diligence on him as a person, and I saw what he was, kind of saw, because you don't want anybody in your space when you're in this business. You know what I mean? Right. So I didn't want to let him in the space at first till I did my due diligence on him, and it was him and his girlfriend and Danny at the time, they were like, you know, they came on, and within 30 days they closed on their first deal. So he had another friend, Charlie Parks. Everybody knows him, Vision by Legit.
Mm-hmm.
He came in. He said, "Hey man, listen, I want to learn too, but I want to add value." You know, everybody that came on the team added some type of value. And
Right.
Charlie wanted to add value with his camera. So when you guys see all these pictures and this content, that's being created by Visions by Legit, Charlie Parks.
Wow. Very powerful. Very powerful. So now you have this team established 2017, and it's off to the races. You guys go to build and establish your brand here in the Atlanta market. And I know wherever you guys are, you guys have your shirts on, you're doing your marketing, you all are a team, and you're committed to getting the job done. And that's phenomenal in itself. I know I spoke recently at an event last year, the event with Will Galloway, and the Wholesalers Are Us, and you guys were there in your shirts. And consistent marketing is super important to your brand. Tell me how did you come up with that concept of just that consistent marketing?
Well, I knew that if, you know, being in the business for that long, at that time, I believe it was like 17, 18 years. I started in 2000, so 17 years. I knew that if I could just put myself or have the team, if we put ourselves in front of people, for one, this logo is lovely. Like, you know, it's a house built out of a fork and spoon. And the concept of what everybody eats is, you know, people saw that and people liked it. So they would see us and be like, man, like, we love the logo, we love the shirt. So that was it. I wanted everybody to know, like, you know, when we're in an area, you know, Pittsburgh, we have our hoodies on, we have our shirts on, you know, we're going on appointments, we're driving for dollars. You know, a lot of times you got to stay. What I want to say about this, you got to stay connected to these communities because we are a community, right? So if I'm in a neighborhood such as Pittsburgh and I have my hoodie on or I have my shirt on, we're remembered by Everybody Eats. So everybody, you know, I got buyers that call me right now and say, man, you guys are always in the field, because now the sellers or people in the neighborhood saying, are you with Everybody Eats?
Wow.
So
amazing.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Right. Everyone knows. And that's, you know, staying on the minds, being omnipresent and always being on the minds of the sellers is super important when it comes to the business. It's like when they think of who am I going to sell my property to, Everybody Eats, because we're consistent with our marketing and we're consistent with our branding.
Exactly.
Wow. Very important. So let's talk a little bit about the current market. We have the coronavirus going on now. And, you know, the pandemic in the real estate industry, you've seen a lot of different market trends with the market going up and down. What are your thoughts on the real estate market in Georgia as a whole, and just from previous trends and things that are happening?
Well, let me say this. The first trend, so I was only one dimensional when the first trend happened in 2008, at the end of 2008. A lot of people say 2007, but 2008 was one of my best years. 2008, I I sold over 35 properties in 1 month.
Whoa.
To a hedge fund. But at that time, I didn't know to hold on to some of these properties. I was just like, okay, this is happening. I'm a young guy, you know, it's big. I'm destined for this. This is, you know, all these things that are happening, these deals that are coming. It was like, okay, I'm destined for this. I just need to sell the properties, make the money. So not knowing that the market was, I kept hearing the market was coming to an end, but I didn't know what that really meant at the time.
Right.
My mentor he wasn't, you know, telling me about that part.
Right.
So, I sold over 35 houses to a hedge fund in 1 month. And right after that, if you're not making any money, what tends to happen if you have a lot of money? The money starts dwindling away, right? Because you're not making any. That's what happened to me. And the market crashed, and I crashed with it.
Wow.
So from seeing previous markets, and then when the market opened back up 2011, 2012, the hedge fund comes back to me and says, hey, John, do you want to buy these houses back? And they sell them back to me at the return on their investment was just ridiculous. You know,
wow.
It was ridiculous.
And they reached out to you and said, hey, would you like to buy them back? That's phenomenal.
Yep.
Wow.
But as far as for the trend of what I see with the market doing right now, um, this with the pandemic and everything going on with these forbearances and things of that nature with these mortgages, I see a lot of opportunities coming in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Um, I speak on the fourth quarter. I'm big on the fourth quarter because, like I said, I played basketball. I was an athlete. So um, your mindset you got to be ahead of the curve. So
Right.
that fourth quarter is going to be enormous. I advise everyone to get prepared for and be in position
Okay.
to take advantage of those situations.
Right.
I was in position to take advantage of the situations at that time. Had I held on to like 10 of those houses, who's to say where I would be?
Wow. Wow. So prepare for the fourth quarter is your word of advice to our viewers,
Yeah.
and pay attention to the trend of things, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yep, because it's gonna, I was one dimensional. All I was doing is wholesaling at that time. Now we're buying and holding, we're doing cosmetic flips here and there, and we're
Right.
also doing some creative financing deals as well. So
Wow.
subject tools and things of that nature. So those are gonna be, it's gonna be a lot of that going on come the fourth quarter because I believe that the courts and everything will be opened up, and unfortunately, these people that are already, I don't want to say take advantage of people, but these people that are already in situations, they're going to be in deeper situations if the job markets don't open back up. It's just, if you're already in a situation, pre-pandemic, and the pandemic comes, the $1,200, the unemployment, that stuff is going to end up doing what? Running out. You already did the forbearances on your mortgage. By the time July comes around, those big heavy payments are going to be coming in. And if there's not any kind of forgiveness, something else that comes up, it's just going to be a lot of different opportunities. And these homeowners or these sellers that have inherited property, the properties that are boarded up that they're not doing anything with, they're not going to be, and they haven't been as strenuous because now they need capital. So those sellers that were too high prior to pre-pandemic, they're liquidating.
Right. Exactly. Wow. And it's inevitable. And like you said, it's not as if anyone's taking advantage. It's more or less that is just unfortunately the way certain things will go. And someone's going to buy the properties. And there's other businesses that are out there. So it's like if you're in the business to buy properties, it just so happens to be a situation that causes more properties to be available. And it's a matter of just educating yourself and being prepared for those opportunities to purchase those properties at that time.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. I love that. So I've heard you mention a few times your mentor. For people that are tuning in, and of course, this is the keys to success. How important has your mentor been in your success as a real estate investor?
Well, my mentor was, that mentorship, I just needed a few things to get me started, and I just took off and ran.
Gotcha.
I advise anybody that's getting into business, getting started in the business, to get a mentor, to get a coach, somebody's going to be able to help you, stay on the path, to keep your mindset clear. That when, things come up, certain things happen and you're not ready for, that, that you can call somebody and say, hey man, I have a situation, can you help me? And they should be able to guide you through and direct you.
Right. So just having that person that may know how to handle a specific situation, that go-to person, whether it be a mastermind group or a specific individual, is really important, especially when starting off. Very,
very important because, again, like they can direct you and guide you. It's like a roadmap. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want to say that the business is very easy now, but it's easier for everyone to win in an up market, right?
Right.
The market's been sweet. Everybody's been, hey, we're winning, we're closing, and this and that. And now the market's kind of slowing up. It's like, okay, what do you do now?
Right.
Right. But behind the scenes, you should be sharpening your pencil, bettering your business, talking to those VAs, getting them sharp, implementing, bettering your business, sharpening that pencil, because we all need to sharpen that pencil sometimes because that pencil gets dull.
Right. And so just staying on top of your craft and continuously be learning and mastering your craft.
Yep.
Wow. Super important stuff. So, I mean, real estate investing for 20 years, preparing for the fourth quarter. What are some of your keys to success to being in the business for this long? What are some of the things that kind of kept you consistent with it?
Well, again, it was always mindset. When the market crashed, I crashed with it. It was rough for me because I couldn't believe that I had so much capital and it's gone. Like it was just like I was here, you know, pre-crash of the market, and now I'm like down here. You know what I mean? So
Right.
your faith, the whatever you believe in, that you got to have some type of something because
Right.
my thing now that I've learned is and I call this it's like red light, green light, but there's a method that we use and the team understands and everyone that's around me understands what we use when we say the red light, green light method.
Right.
The red light is staying, that's like in the negative. You listen to other naysayers, people saying you can't do things, all the things that,
Are negative.
that are negative, that,
Yeah.
people can tell you one thing, but if you've never been an entrepreneur or you've never been in some type of situation where you sold a home, you can't tell an investor that they can't do it. You know what I mean? So everything negative is in the red. Getting green. When you're in the green, you're too excited. You're, overload, like, oh, everything's going to happen. Everything's going to happen. And then when something goes left, now you're like, you don't know what to do because you were in the green. You were just too excited. So we tend to stay in the yellow, and staying in the yellow is like mellow. You understand that it can go red or green. You gotta balance that out. And you want to stay in the yellow because that's just where you need to be. Like being in the game 20 years, you want to stay in the yellow because, you've seen the trends. You've seen things go left. You've seen deals with title issues. You've seen, all the negative things that can happen to a deal from start to finish. So you want to stay in the yellow as much as possible.
That is amazing advice. Staying in between, like, so basically, if you get a deal under contract, or if you're in the business and you just don't get so excited, like, oh my God, I've got this deal, stay in the yellow and just say, okay, I understand I have this. There's a process to it. It could go positive, it could go negative, but either way, I'm not being too much affected. And even what about when it closes? Do you still stay in that position of?
No, that's when you can go on the green. You can go on the green when you get the wire. When the wire show up, you go on the green.
Gotcha. So it's pretty much you're staying neutral and you understand that there's emotional balance, but you're always staying in that balanced place of gotcha. That's amazing advice. And it's amazing advice for your team to kind of understand that way where you say the whole team understands that.
Oh, most definitely. Because they know the process, they can close on a deal. Everyone's closing, they still closing and still doing business. So they understand the process. You can get a deal just because you got a deal in the contract for the people that are just getting started that are new. Yeah. If you contract a deal a day, that doesn't mean that you're getting a check.
No.
Just to let you guys know.
No.
You get a check when the title's clear and they're sending you the wire. The sellers came, you got your seller, you got your buyer, everybody came to the table, they signed and closed, and now you get your wire. Now you can get excited.
Right. So true. So, I mean, 20 years in the business, do you offer any coaching? I know you have your team and you have your business. Do you have a coaching program or anything like that if anyone wants to learn more from the Grind Guy?
A lot of people have been reaching out to me about coaching. I tend to step away from the coaching or mentorship. Okay. I'm more on because, and I know, and it's a reason why. Okay. I've had so many people in the past reach out to me and they're tire kickers. They want me to do the work for them. They want me to and that's why I don't accept any fees or anything like that. Cause I can go out here and say, oh, I want to charge $5,000 to $10,000. I could do this, and this. But if you don't have the proper mindset, then it doesn't matter what I teach you because you're not going to take action. You're not going to take the massive action that's needed to close on a deal. Right. So now you done gave me some money and you expect to be able to call me at any time of the night, hey, John, it's not working for me. No, it works because my team is doing it. It works because we're still doing it and we're sticking to the basics. The basics still work.
Wow. And so stick to the basics. So as of right now, there's no Grind Guy coaching. but they can follow your content and all of the amazing content and things that you have out there. And I
Right.
totally understand that. I mean, I've been in the business here in Atlanta for 7 years, and I've done some mentoring programs, but like you said, when it comes to mindset, and even with my new book, Clear to Close, that's about to be released, the first few chapters is all about mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, it's pointless.
Right.
There's nothing, and it's just,
There's nothing none of us can do.
yeah.
You can, it's just like a map. And I don't know if you guys I put out some content the other day. It's
Right.
like a door right here. The door's here. All you have to do is turn the knob. And when you turn the knob, on the other side of the door is opportunity.
Right.
Are you willing to open the door?
Right.
That's just what it is. That's what this business is. But you have to be consistent and you have to be diligent. And it starts with the mindset.
Right. So important. So important. Well,
but I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I wouldn't coach anyone.
Okay.
I just have to be able to understand and know that they're not wasting time. I don't want anybody, because you get one good name, you get one name in this business. And
Right.
if all it takes is someone to say, "Oh, I tried John's program, it didn't work for me." And it's like, well, what did you do in John's program? What did you do in the grind? Did you do everything that he said? You see what I mean? So I don't want to bat for that. I'd rather everybody say, "Hey, the grind guy, he means business. He's going to do what he says. The integrity's there. Everything's there. I like the grind guy."
Right. Absolutely. Well, I know in our comments, we have Lynn who said, you were just a baby when you started.
Yep.
Ron Dominic, he said, well, he said, oh, shoot. I'm in there supporting you. He said, Damon Ace said the grind guy. And another person said the grind guy. They're here definitely to support you. Do you have any final words before we sign off for our viewers when it comes to just consistency and being in the business, or just any final words that you'd like to leave?
Man, we signing off already, Akita? We can't go for another hour?
We can stay on as long as you like. Typically, the show lasts about 30 minutes. Is there any other keys to success that you have that you want to, drop to our viewers or anything?
Just, if you're looking to get into the business of real estate,
mm-hmm.
and I'm preaching this because I understand what it takes. Drive for dollars. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, find you a mentor that's going to teach you these things, but make sure you vet the mentor. Gotcha. So I'm going to say that. I'm not going to go into what you need to do to get started. I'm going to say, find a mentor, mm-hmm. and vet the mentor. Make sure that the mentor is actively doing the business.
Right. Yeah. Super important. Yeah. And thank you for that. Because a lot of times there are mentors that are out there, but making sure that they're actively doing the business is super important.
Yeah. Because we can talk. I mean, I got started 20 years ago, but if I haven't closed a deal since 2007 or 2008, it's a whole nother wave of business now.
Right.
I'm actively closing deals. So,
One last thing I wanted to ask too. I know that you said your daughter was always your why. When it comes to just having that foundation of being a man in this business, what is some advice that you would give to other men and parents for just having that proper foundation and structure and that proper vision to say, like, how did you develop that to say, I'm having a daughter, this is my priority, having those priorities in order?
Well, I didn't want to. So everybody has a past, and I wanted to stay as clear as possible from my past for my future, because I knew I had a daughter coming. It was no longer about me. So anybody that has any kids, you understand this. You guys understand that there's no longer about you. It was no longer about me. My plan was to go to college to play basketball and do other things associated with basketball. When my daughter came, it was like, change of plans. Like, it's no longer about me. I'm how she got here. So I need to take full responsibility and and show her everything that I can and be that role model.
Wow. And that, I think, is the key word. You assume full responsibility for your life and for the life of your daughter. And so for anyone who's in this, I think that that's another major key to success, is accepting full responsibility for every aspect of your business and every aspect of your life to achieve that end goal, whatever that end goal may be.
Yep, because your why is going to keep you motivated. Your why is going to, when it's raining outside, you got to go drive for dollars, or you got an appointment, and you want to try to schedule an appointment for another day, well, you schedule your appointment for another day. The grind guy right now, 20 years in, will still go to the appointment and lock up the deal.
Wow, absolutely. And that's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you so very much for taking the time out of your afternoon to jump on the show, The Keys to Success, and give us, you've dropped so many major keys to your success in this business. I had no idea you had been in the industry for 20 years in the Atlanta, Georgia market. That is phenomenal. If anyone wants to send deals your way or reach out to the Everybody Eats family, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
You can reach us at the grind guy, at the real grind guy on Instagram.
Okay.
And at let's see, we changed the name just recently, so
no problem.
At Everybody Eats _RE on Instagram as well. So that's EERRBODYEATS _RE.
Okay.
And you can contact us at Everybody EERRBODYEATS @gmail.com.
Okay. And that's where their deals.
Everybody Eats Real Estate @gmail.com. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. And that's where they would submit their deals to you if there's any deals.
Submit deals to us. You know, you can reach out to us. You also can contact me at 404-482-2016.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your afternoon for joining us today and answer some of the questions and just allow us a peek into your world. Again, it is your girl, Miss Lee. We come to you live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to discuss the keys to success to local real estate investors, business professionals, and entrepreneurs in the Atlanta, Georgia area and around the United States, around the world, really. Unless you have any other final remarks that you'd like to leave with, I want to just thank you again for being on the show. And until next time, everyone on Instagram, thank you guys for tuning in. Everyone on Facebook as well, thank you all for tuning in. And you guys have a beautiful evening, beautiful afternoon.
All right.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.